Today on r/askReddit, men of Reddit, what's the hardest thing to explain to women? When you ask me how my day was or what I did today, nothing in my day usually stands out as special, so I just don't remember. I usually don't remember what I do, I just live. Work gets put into a box as soon as I clock out, I then spend the time it takes to get home to flush my mind of it all so I am not angry or stressed about my day. I don't want to think about work until I clock back in the next morning. My day was the same and something funny or interesting may have happened, but I am not opening that box when I'm sitting at home staring into the neighbor's trees blowing in the wind. Why, I don't know what the fuck my best friend is up to in life even after hanging out with him all day. I chat with my friend for an hour on the phone. We talk about video games, sports, etc. He's been my friend from high school and we were best men in each other's weddings. So, after the call, my wife says, "What's going on with his family?" I don't know. You didn't talk about his family? Look. I'm sure they're fine. If they weren't he would have told me. Fucking this. How's Dave? What? I have no idea. Didn't you just play 2 hours of CSGO with him? Yeah. He seems alright. Well, he can't clutch for shit, I know that. He's 3 and 15, I imagine he's pissed. Bill and Val had a great bit about this. I was at the gym the other day working out with my buddy Joey. And he goes, "Hey, man, I'm getting a divorce." I said, "Wow, that sucks. Can you spot me?" That was our whole conversation. So then I go home to my wife, and I say, "Hey, Joey is getting a divorce." She goes, "Oh, my God. What happened?" I dunno. What do you mean you don't know? Is she cheating on him? Is he cheating on her? Again, I'm not holding anything back here, I don't know. She goes, "Bill, someone tells you they're getting a divorce and you don't ask any questions?" And I go, "Well, that's because he didn't ask me a question. He didn't say, 'Hey Bill, what do you think about me getting a divorce?' He said, 'I'm getting a divorce,' which said to me, 'I require no further input on your part.' If he had said, 'What do you think about me getting a divorce?' I'd have said, 'Well, you're gonna be dating again, so you should work on your abs.'" I was at home, when my wife and her friends got home one day from the pub. They were all giving me funny looks and smirking. I asked what was going on. They at first refused to tell me. After a little while of prodding, one of them goes, "I heard all about your dick." And they all broke into laughter. I was a little taken by surprise but laughed and said something like, "Oh yay? Hopefully all good." And they laughed, and that was the end of it. After they left, I was like, "What the hell did you tell them?" And my wife responded by saying how she told her friends about our vigorous romps on our honeymoon in Mexico, apparently in great detail. We were there for a week and probably had sex about 3 times a day. We were both pretty sore when we got home. We had an all-inclusive, so we ended up getting day drunk and got pretty physical with each other as you do on a honeymoon. She was like, "Whatever, you probably tell your friends all about us when it's just the boys. I don't know about you guys, but the extent of what I ever say is usually a raised eyebrow and something like, 'Oh yay boo.' I have never once described my wife's body to a single one of my friends, nothing in detail about any of my sexual partners, from before my wife, and it blew her mind. Apparently girls talk in great detail about it, guys usually don't. And they assume we do, and we assume they don't. When you say, 'Does this outfit look okay?' and we say, 'Yes, you look stunning,' and you reply, 'Well, you would say that,' half my brain thinks, 'Please believe me because you do look stunning,' and the other half thinks, 'WTF did you ask me for if you aren't going to believe me?' You can pop a boner without being aroused. You can get a boner even when you are nervous. Heck, sometimes I can't get a boner when I'm aroused. And sometimes I get one because I'm hungry. Sometimes I'll get a boner due to boredom, like my body just senses it and goes, "Here buddy, play with this." Boners are weird. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. Yes, we can have an opinion on something, but when we say we don't care, that means our opinion isn't strong enough to sway us either way on something. I learned to say I don't have a preference. That always seems to come across better. When I say I don't have a preference, my girlfriend tends to take it as me saying I don't like either option, and she'll scrap the plans entirely. I actually mean both options sound fine or even good, but I truly don't have a preference between them. Most of us don't get complimented, so if you do give us one, we'll remember it forever. This is also why we're often so bad at taking them. It's not something we're used to. LPT, haha, thanks, is the correct response. That I am simply not clairvoyant. You need to tell me what it is you really want. If you're disappointed in something, say so. I can take it, as long as it's not number one. I'm okay with the classic I'm fine when you're not fine, that's kind of expected. But if you tell me not to call, I'm going to stop calling. If you secretly wanted me to call you, you shouldn't have said literally the opposite. The classic I'm fine when you're not fine. Or the word fine has become so watered down it now doesn't mean more than I don't expect to die in the next 24 hours. Exactly. I went away on a guy's weekend. One of the guys happens to be having a little marital problems right now. When I returned, my wife wanted all the dirt on the relationship issues, since we know both husband and wife. She was disappointed and shocked to realize 8 guys spent an entire weekend drinking, playing poker, drinking, golf and fishing and drinking, and the relationship problems never came up. We talked about the stock market, science things, how my friend did all the repairs to his boat engine himself, what happens when seawater gets in the fuel, whether or not Jimmy Buffett sucks, how hot Dua Lipa is, should my buddy buy a bigger boat, how attractive the singer at the live band we saw was, whether or not to throw the fish back, whether oil stocks are a good buy now, how if someone hadn't sliced the drive would have gone 300 yards, are we feeling the burn, and lots of other things. The closest we got to relationship issues was when one fellow made the observation that it was a statistical anomaly that none of us have been divorced yet. Why we bottle our emotions up. This. My wife and I lost a dog in our 2nd year of marriage. He was sick for a month and she was crying softly about it on a daily basis. I was extremely sad, but never cried. Then when they took him away at the vet's office, I cried loudly and uncontrollably for what felt like an hour, probably realistically like 45 seconds though, and just couldn't calm myself down. In the car she said, "You know, if you didn't bottle it up and let it out a little at a time, you wouldn't get like that." What she didn't understand at that moment is that for a lot of men, we don't have that middle ground of crying, it's either nothing or everything. A lot of us never learned how to cry in a semi-controlled manner because we never saw a man do that when we were young. I'm 40 years old and I've never seen my father cry, not at any of our weddings, not at his parents' funerals, nothing. In other words, I've never had that subconscious model of how a man is supposed to cry, and don't have any practice at it. When I try to make myself cry, I can't, whereas my wife can watch any commercial with sick animals, cry quietly for 5 seconds and then be done with it. My ex would say horrible things when fighting, then wonder why I was not in the mood to fuck her for a few days afterwards. Seriously, I have learned to hate teachers that would teach the sticks and stones rhyme, because the truth is stick and stones can break bones and harsh words will fucking destroy your self-esteem for years, requiring mental counseling, and even then you might never heal. The stick and stones thing works when a 7-year-old calls you a poopy head fart poo up face. Not when your spouse says the day I regret most is the day I met you. Also, you're fat. Thanks for watching another episode of Today on Reddit. Remember to like and sub for more content and share your stories in the comments below.